Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. In the last video you learned how you can pull changes from your remote repository and push changes to it. And that only works as long as you own the repo. So as long as you don't want to work together with a friend, if you want to do that, this doesn't work anymore because only the owner of a remote repository on GitHub is allowed to write to it, so to push changes to the repository. So what I did here is I created a repository here, GitHub demonstration, with a single text file in it, very similar to what we had in the previous video. And that is a public repository, which means everybody can see the source code and also clone this repository, but nobody else except me can push changes to this repository. And of course, that is something you want by default, that not everybody can just come over and modify your source code. But if you want to start working with others on a single remote repository, then it is crucial that other people need to be able to push their code to the repository. And I want to show you in this video how we can accomplish that. So what I did is I have my folder here, GitHub demonstration, which contains this whatever text file. So that is exactly the text file I have in my repository here on GitHub. But what I now want to do is I want to log in to GitHub with another account I created for this video to show you what happens if we want to push something and we are not the owner of that project. So in particular, if you want to push something to a GitHub repository, then the first time you do that, you need to log in with your GitHub credentials. And you probably already encountered that in the last video. And if you did that once, GitHub will create a personal access token for you, which will be saved locally on your computer. So you don't always need to enter your username and password if you want to push something to that GitHub repository. So if I would just open the PowerShell here in this folder and make some changes here in the code and push them, then that wouldn't require any credential check because on this machine, I'm already logged in as Android devs basically, so as my main account. But what I want to do here is I want to log in with my second account. So we somehow need to log out for our Git. So we need to relog in. And we can do that in Windows with the Credentials Manager. If we go to the search bar here, Credential Manager, press Enter here, then click on Windows Credentials. By the way, I don't know how you can do that in Linux or macOS, but you can very easily find that out where the token is stored by just Googling. Then we scroll down in Windows Credentials until we find that GitHub token. You can see git:/https github.com. If we extend that, we simply click on Remove. Then we accept that. And now if we want to push something to GitHub, we have to enter our username and password again. So back in PowerShell here, let's actually maximize this. You can see in this folder, I have that file whatever.txt, and I just want to change the contents of that file, echo xyz, I don't know, and write that into whatever.txt. You already know that from the last video. Then we add that with git add dot. We commit the changes, second commit. And if we now want to push, so we write git push, then we are queried to enter our login name and our password. For you, this will probably not look like that with that GUI. That is because I have the GitHub application installed. If I close this, then you can see here I get another prompt for the username, which will probably be how it is for you if you don't have that application installed. And yeah, here I just want to enter my other username from my second account I created for this video. So that is Harris Pilton. And the password for that is, no, I don't tell you that. And here you can already see permission to Android devs 18, GitHub demonstration denied to Harris Pilton. So we don't have access to that repository, even though our credentials were correct, of course. So how can we actually solve that problem? That is actually not that difficult to do. We just need to go inside of our GitHub profile. So this is now my main account, not my second account in which I'm logged in the console. Then we go to the repository we want to grant access to someone else, and we go to settings. And what we need to do is we need to add a collaborator for this repository. So that is basically, yeah, well, what the name already says, someone who works with us on this project. So here in the repository and then in the settings tab, we can click on manage access. And you can see currently we have 0 collaborators on this repository. So that means only we are allowed with this account to push changes to it. But we can invite a collaborator here if we click on this green button. And here we can enter a GitHub username. So I will enter my second account, Harris Pilton. There we are. And we click add Harris Pilton to GitHub demonstration. And you can also see that Harris Pilton is not automatically added as a collaborator to this repository. So instead, Harris needs to answer to our response, our invitation first. So she or he got an email in which she or he needs to click on a confirmation link. So this is what I will just do right now. You have to do that for your other account, of course, for the email that you entered there. And I'll see you after that. All right, so I just clicked on the link to accept that invitation. Let's reload the page here. And you can see now Harris Pilton is marked as a collaborator. And that also means that Harris Pilton can now push changes to this repository. So let's actually go back inside of our PowerShell here and try to push again. So we just try to push what we wanted to push here, but at that point we couldn't do that because permission was denied. But now we are a collaborator with Harris Pilton. So we press enter here, and we need to log in again. I will choose the command line option here again. So Harris Pilton, my password. And now you can see we can push our changes to GitHub demonstration. But let's actually imagine this in practice. Do we really want that anybody who is a collaborator can push any changes to any of our branches? No, we don't want that, because that would mean that any collaborator can potentially break our project by just pushing any bullshit on it. So I'm sure you have heard of open source projects where just everybody can come over and contribute to them, which is great. But of course, we don't want that anybody can push any changes to our code. So we somehow need to protect that. So the way how open source projects usually manage that is that they protect their master branch or even more branches, which means that nobody can push his changes to the master branch. Instead, what everybody needs to do who wants to push some changes to this repository is he needs to create his own branch with the features he implemented, push that new branch to the remote repository on GitHub, and then he needs to create what is called a pull request. A pull request is basically just a request to pull the changes you pushed to GitHub to the master branch. So you first need to basically request that your changes are merged into the master branch, and this only happens if some people approve your commits and your changes. But let's actually go through this step by step, because that was quite a lot of new information. Let's go back to our repository here, our GitHub demonstration repository. We are still logged in as our main account who owns that repository. And what we can do here is we can click on the branches tab in the settings tab. And here we can add a branch protection rule. So we click on add rule. We need to enter the name of our branch we want to protect. So we want to protect the master branch, because that is usually the branch that holds the whole functionality of your program. And here you can see we have a bunch of checkboxes that we can choose from. All those are optional, so you can actually read those. I won't go into them in detail in this video. I'm just going to explain the first one, because that is the important one that we need here, which will require a pull request review before merging. So you can see when enabled, all commits must be made to a non-protected branch, so not our master branch, and submitted via a pull request with the required number of approving reviews, and no changes requested before it can merge into a branch, blah, blah, blah. So what we can do here is we have that little drop down, the required approving reviews. So that means let's say we set that to 5. That would mean that at least 5 people need to look through your commits, through the code changes you made, and need to say, yes, those changes are fine and won't affect our master branch in any negative way. That is super efficient if it comes to not breaking the code and merging it, because several people look at it independently. So I will actually set this back to 1 because it doesn't really matter for us here. Administrators actually can always approve that, so there you don't need all those approving reviews here. So in this case it doesn't really matter because we only have 2 people working with this repository. But on open source projects where many people work on that repository, this is actually a very important option here. So yeah, as I said, I won't go too much through these other options here. You can just read them and they tell you what they do, or they link you to the documentation like this one here. They're not important for us right here. So let's actually click on create. So we create that rule for the master branch. By the way, you could also use a regex pattern here, but you could also just type the name of the branch like we do it here. Let's click on create. And then we created that rule. So let's actually go back to our PowerShell and clear that up here. Write some changes into our text file. I don't know. Write them into our whatever.txt. Then we add that. We make a commit, new commit, whatever. And now we want to push them. So we use git push. And then you will see, oh, remote rejected because our branch is protected. So our just added rule will block people from directly pushing to the master branch. And what they have to do instead is they have to create their own branch with their features implemented. So we can do that with git branch, and I don't know, just call it new branch. Create that new branch. We need to switch to that branch, git check out new branch. And now we can push those changes. So we write git push again. And you can see we first need to add the remote repository again for this branch. So git remote add origin, and then we enter the URL of our repository. So we go to our GitHub demonstration repository, click on this code option, copy this link, go back to PowerShell, paste this link, add this rule. Then we use git push origin. And you can see we need to use this option again because this is the first time we push this branch. So we just copy and paste this, press enter, and wait a little moment. Now you can see this time it worked because we pushed a new branch and not directly to the master branch. So now what we need to do is we need to create the so-called pull request, which I already explained before. But again, that is basically a request that your changes that we just pushed here to the new branch are merged into the master branch. So basically that other people approve your changes. And we can do that in our GitHub repository again. So let's go to that, and you can see here's a tab for pull requests. Let's click on that. And here we can create a new pull request, and you could also do that from your other account. So I'm just logged in my main account here, but if I was logged in Harris Pilton's account, this would also work. So let's just click on new pull request here, and you can see we have to select 2 branches here. First of all, the base branch in which we want to merge changes, and here the branch we want to merge the changes from. And here you can see if we click on that, here's our new branch. If we select that, we can simply create that pull request, and you can also see able to merge. These branches can be automatically merged, so there won't be any merge conflicts. But let's just click on create pull request here. We can write some text here. Please check my code and merge it. And click on create pull request. And then you can see review acquired. So at least one approving review is required by reviewers with write access. So other people now need to check our code here, our commit. So they can click on commits here and see our new commit and see the code that we committed to this branch. So you can also see that this pull request is currently open. So that just means, hey, other people, please review that. And if other people reviewed that, which they actually didn't here, but since we are an administrator on this account, we can also just click on merge pull request. So let's actually do that. And click on use your administrator privileges to merge this pull request, confirm merge. And then you can see it tells us merged. We click on code, click on our whatever.txt, and there is the change we made in our other branch. So that is now inside of our master branch. And yeah, that were the essentials of Git. So if you made it this far, congratulations. And if you really understood everything in this series, then you can really be proud of yourself. That is super important that you understand that, and it will boost your development success by a lot. Over time, you will see more and more how important it is actually to know how Git works. And yeah, of course, as I already said in the first video, there is so much more to Git, but what you learned in this video is what you need in 99% of the time. And if you one day need something else, then you just look it up in Google and then forget it afterwards again, because you will never need it again. So please, if you enjoyed this series, then tell me that below. And especially if you didn't like something about this series, then tell me that too, so I can improve on my content in future and provide you even better content. And yeah, if you didn't even subscribe to my channel, then quickly do that. It's just a single click. You won't regret it. You will get regular Android content every second day. And yes, I wish you a very nice day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.